Good morning. Welcome to October, and welcome to the Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name's David Adams, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome everyone this morning. Before we start our service, just a couple of brief announcements and reminders as usual. First, thank you to Jimmy Deng. We always enjoy having him here, and he's a wonderful musician. Today, after the service, our adult RE program, Our Place in the Web of Life, continues. Oh, it doesn't continue, Laura is telling me. Next week, okay. Next week, our program, Our Place in the Web of Life, will continue. And if you're interested in finding out more about that, you should see Laura Mulroy after the service. Two items regarding next Sunday, which is October 8th. We will have on the 8th our annual Blessing of the Animals service, and I'm told this is a wonderful service because people bring their kitties and their puppies and lizards, other creatures. Please bring your beloved creature with a leash or a crate or whatever makes them feel most comfortable. Also, on the 8th, after the service in the afternoon, beginning at 2 p.m., we will be hosting here in the sanctuary a musical concert fundraiser on behalf of students at San Bernardino Valley College, and that's in honor of our beloved Maddie Scully, who taught at Valley College for many years. And the funds raised will go toward a scholarship in Maddie's memory, so be sure to be here for that. It should be great fun. After the service today, representatives of the Monarch Fellowship are here. You may have noticed them outside the front door as you walked in. And they're embarked on the endeavor to bring more butterflies to the world, which I think is wonderful. Several of us here today live at Pilgrim Place, and there are lots of butterflies there, and we love them. So if you're interested, they have some plants that actually will attract butterflies, and there are some, I think, some caterpillars even on them. So you can check that out if you want after the service. And lastly, but not leastly, is that a word? Probably not. Please remember that our Raise the Roof fundraiser has commenced, and to receive the matching grant money from the Spirit Level Foundation with which to repair our roof, we must raise money of our own. So please contribute as generously as you can. Put roof on the memo line of your check, or there are some envelopes that I will make sure that are they inside there?
They're right on the table.
Oh, they're right on the table. Okay. Next to our model church. And what we hope to do, of course, is to see the top of that all covered with little shingles, which will represent each one of them a $500 amount that has been so far accumulated. So, with that, I think that's all we have by way of announcements, so we'll begin our service, as always, with Reverend Maggie Yenoki.
Thank you, David, and welcome. Good morning, everyone. So good to see all of you, and welcome to those who are joining us online. We open our service with the ringing of the bowl for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. For yesterday, we ring it for the ancestors and the founding members of our congregation. We ring it for the Tongva peoples who tended this land long ago and first called it home. For today, we ring it for all of us gathered here, those joining us online today, for our staff, our visitors, our friends, our sustaining members. We ring it for the partnership congregation in the Philippines and for all of our UU kin all over the world who support and illumine this faith journey we are on together. And we ring it for tomorrow, for all who will find safe belonging here among us and make MVUUC their spiritual home in the days ahead. I invite you to stand as you're comfortable and we'll sing together our opening song, Gather the Spirit. It's number 347 in the hymnal. If you like to follow the music, the lyrics are on the screen. Make yourselves comfortable, everyone but Amy and Alan Randall. So I'd love to have you guys come up and light our chalices. Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. And as a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame that represents our shared light of hope and witness. We hear now the words of Reverend Kathleen McTeague. Into this home, we bring our hunger for awakening. We bring compassionate hearts and a will toward justice. Into this home, we bring the courage to walk on after hard losses. Into this home, we bring our joy and gratitude for ordinary blessings. And by our gathering, we bless this place. And in its shelter, we know that we are blessed. I invite those of you who are visiting us today to participate with us as you are comfortable. But each week, as part of our worship, we read together our covenant with one another. This is the covenant that we make as a spiritual community. So I invite everyone to stand, and we will read our covenant together, and it'll be followed by a singing of Spirit of Life, once in English and then in Spanish. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. The search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. Comfortable. As these days grow darker and darker, we have a very special wisdom tale today from Robert Tidwell. He's our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, and he will give us a time for all ages.
Today's story is called A Spark in the Dark. It's got some very pretty illustrations. I'll leave it on the RE table if you'd like to look at it after service. It is by Pam Fong. There is light and there is dark. The light is warm and welcoming. In the light, it's easy to see what's ahead. But sometimes dark creeps up and surrounds you, and before you know it, there is only dark. The dark can be cold, lonely, and scary. The dark can make you feel lost, angry, or sad. But even in the dark, light can bloom. Then just as quickly fade away. It may look strange, it may not be enough to chase away the dark. Sometimes it can even lead you in the wrong direction. But keep searching. Eventually you will find a familiar spark to follow. The spark will show you the way back. You need light to move through the dark, but sometimes you need the dark to see the light. Thank you. And now, if Jaryus can put the words on the screen, and Riley and Max and any other kids that are here, if you can come get the chalice, you guys can sing this out to our classes.
Have a wonderful class. As we continue to grow and become stronger as a caring community, we celebrate our shared compassion for the needs of those friends, relatives, and neighbors who are in need of good care in these tender times. Our congregation has chosen to create an opportunity to live out our generous care as we gather our undesignated offerings and split them 50-50 with a local charity pre-selected by the Justice team and approved by the board. For the month of October, the undesignated offerings that we gather will be shared with the Klein Bell Institute. And here to tell us all about them is one of their board members, our own Reverend Ellen Livingston, and her friends.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah. I'm so delighted to look out and see so many of my friends and new friends and people who really care about a place to find healing and well-being. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning in terms of our Share the Plate. I'm so excited and happy to see our director, who will tell us more all about it. I'm just here to introduce you. And I'm also happy to say that the people from the farthest away today, I think, are from New Zealand. And they're Phoebe's parents, right? And they tell me, yes, there is a Unitarian church, Unitarian Universalist church in what city in New Zealand? Yeah. Austin? Auckland, yeah, I know that. I've heard of that. So welcome, and they're on their way to Europe, and they say this is not a good time to be in New Zealand because of they have a reversal of the seasons there. But I think it'd be any time would be a good time. So now it's my exquisite honor to introduce my longtime friend and director, of the Kleinbell Institute, which you can tell us the correct name. So Sam, welcome to my congregation.
Thank you, Ellen, and thank you, Pastor Maggie. This is my third time visiting this congregation, and I love visiting you. You have a wonderful music, you have a wonderful spirit of hospitality, and that really radiates. And so, thank you very much for having us. A number of us are visiting from the Kleinbell Institute, and if you are part of Kleinbell Institute, would you please stand? These are our counselors, board of directors, and also family members. Thank you. My name is Samuel Lee, and I am on the faculty of Claremont School of Theology, and have been executive director of the Kleinbell Institute for past about 20 years. So it's been a long time. The Kleinbell Institute has been operating at the current location for more than 65 years, and we call it hidden gem in Tri-City area. We provide counseling services to anyone in our community who needs it, and we are not a religious organization, but our specialties include serving and helping those who might have experienced trauma and abuse in religious communities. We have ongoing relationship with the Inland Valley Hope Partners, and we provide counseling service to those who are temporarily homeless. We also provide counseling services to those who are at Crossroads Incorporated, and providing counseling services for those who are previously incarcerated women at the Crossroads. We provide counseling services to about 200 people a year, and we are not very well known because we do not do a lot of advertisement. But as you know, in these difficult time, post-COVID and difficult financial climate, there are many persons in our community who can use our counseling services. We charge as little as $25 per session. And the reason that we can charge so little is because of the organizations and individuals who are generous and provide donations. And so I'm grateful for introducing the Kleinbell Institute to you, and also your generosity, which will continue to support those who cannot afford counseling services, but who really need them. So thank you very much for this time.
And it is that generosity that is our first response, but it's also our second nature. And with that, I invite you to come forward with your offerings. And forgive us for saying that every time you play with us. We really appreciate it. But we always see Lily in his playing, don't we? We know who his teacher is. Indeed, indeed. One of the other ways we live out our care for each other is to share the things that are delights in our lives, and also the things that are disappointments. Some we share publicly, some we just share in this community. I invite those online to type in the chat if you have any concerns that you would like mentioned. Together, we pause to honor the death of Senator Dianne Feinstein this week. Jack Widener has a sorrow. He has a sorrow that he couldn't be with us today. But we have a joy because he's in Santa Monica participating in the triathlon. So let's send him all of our good energies that he will come through just fine and maybe beat all of his previous records. A few others. I had one that I received via text all the way from Tokyo And that is our friend Mitch Abe, that had been visiting with us for a couple of weeks, was very distressed because of his father being near death. His father, Akio Abe, did die in Tokyo on Friday the 23rd at age 89. And Mitch is in Japan now with his family, grieving for their dad. It's also a celebration. Sorry, we're going like a roller coaster almost, a little bit of whiplash in our joys and our sorrows here, but today is the 99th birthday of President Jimmy Carter. So we honor him. My husband George had given me a couple of joys and I stuck them in here they are. The California State Water Resources Control Board voted unanimously to order the parent company of Arrowhead Spring Water to cease and desist taking much of the water it had been piping from tunnels and boreholes in the San Bernardino National Forest. That is, stop doing that. And another joy that, oh, this one is wonderful. Lahaina's historic banyan tree has sprouted its first leaves since being badly burned in last month's deadly wildfires. Thanks, George. Thank you, everyone. These are the things in our lives that connect us. And as we take a moment now to enter a time of meditation and prayer, we enjoy a few deep breaths together. Not to control them, but just to deepen them a little bit. To locate ourselves here in this sanctuary as a community under this beautiful full harvest moon with the magic of the rain that we needed so deeply. And as the darkness of our days increases and calls us inward to explore our souls and discover what has been patiently present there and usually ignored with the precedence of our summer schedules, waiting its turn in the shadow. But we take our time now as we tend to our longings for comfort and the slowness of the season shift. We inhale the peace that restores us, and we exhale the loving kindness so needed in our world and in each of us. Peace and loving kindness swirl around us and within us, undetectable to the eye, welcomed by our souls as we sit in a space of shared silence. As we allow our eyes to gently open again, I invite you to reach for your teal hymnal or check on the screen for the lyrics to hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness, and we can sing this seated. We'll sing it through 3 times. The first time the lyric is, may I be filled with loving kindness, and then may you, and then we'll finish with may we, and include the entire planet and other planets if need be. I'd like to invite Phebe Mason up. We have a treat today. Phebe will be doing our reading. It's If Money Was No Object, and it was inspired by the words of Stephen Charleston.
If money was no object. If money were no object, I would be able to create and bring to life so many dreams I've had locked away in this mind and heart of mine. Dreams that are too big, some would say, but if you are going to dream, dream big and dream often. I have no name for my dream, but it all intertwines, and it is just now in recent times that the pieces all fit together. From the Native American viewpoint, we are in a threefold covenant between Creator, humanity, and Earth. The third leg of the covenant is the relationship to every aspect of life embodied in the spiritual metaphor of Mother Earth. Human beings are only part of the whole story. This is not a story of a one-legged stool that cannot stand. This is not a story that is going to end that way. The embrace of the earth as a conscious partner in the covenant of life helps us avoid the blindness of those who laughed at the indigenous dreamer prophet Smohala's vision of the earth as a living woman. Part of the reason we cannot move out of the way of an environmental apocalypse is our fantasy that we are immune to consequences and that we are able to invent solutions to every crisis, as we often were. But because we lacked trust in the Creator and we lack honor of the Mother, we reduce our situation to a one-legged stool. We depend only on ourselves. We violate our ancient covenant, and eventually, according to Smohala, we will pay for our pride. We are already paying. Smohala once said, "Men who are focused on their needs cannot dream, and wisdom comes to us in dreams." They think of what will bring them more comfort and more leisure. They are constantly busy building wealth and power. These are people who have been raised in a culture of more, always wanting more, needing more, taking more. The old values of sharing and equality are lost in the stampede for more. Consequently, the dreamless people have no wisdom. They can see the apocalypse coming, but they cannot imagine how to prevent it. Their ambivalence is their destiny. But we are dreamers, and it is now the time for the dreaming of dreams. If money were no object, I would be able to create and bring to life all these dreams that are no longer able to be locked away in this mind and heart of mine.
My husband, George, and I have a small 6 by 9-inch frame hanging by the doorway in our home that contains an artistic rendering of a quote from our transcendentalist but raised Unitarian ancestor, Henry David Thoreau. We keep it there so that in our comings and our goings, we allow our much beloved ancestors' words to focus us on the newness of each day. The sign reminds us daily, when we remember to look at it, that this world is but a canvas to the imagination. Thoreau's words whisper a challenge to us, an invitation to see that no matter what percentage of our days are filled with the treadmill of tasks undone, we are lured, or perhaps summoned, to keep imagining our own passionate way toward creating a world made better for all through the work that we are here to do in our individual lives and together as a spiritual community. But for us lately, though, and raise your hand if you're feeling this too, we would love to do nothing more than be directing more and more of our energies toward working together to help make the world a better place. But for now, we seem to find ourselves with our noses to the grindstone, consumed by the task of a different sort. We are in a time when it seems that we are being called to the tending of physical things, as our roof replacement and other complicated repairs, installations, and upgrades on our campus. They're drawing our attention and our money in emergent ways. We might even say that while we know it won't always be this hard, we're all a bit beyond frustrated with the many repairs that are just so important right now. And when we look for the ways to make meaning from it, we can see that we're deep in a time of reconstructing and repair. And we will keep going together, encouraging one another along the way, and continuing to imagine and plant the seeds for those who will come. But while we currently feel the weight of completely unpredictable physical and fiscal delays and distractions, we temper the impact of it by consciously hearing Thoreau's words to us, and we end it with an ellipsis instead of a period. Yes, this world is a canvas to the imagination, but most likely what he intended was to us to know that the options are endless, because we are still imagining, and because we're committed to keep on creating justice, and because we are a growing, grounded community that holds a strong presence of Unitarian Universalist faith in Southern California. And because really, when we are imagining, we begin our vision with a lens that requires that we imagine as if money were no object. What would you like to do if money was no object? It is already our truth that money is no object, because for us, money is not the object. Justice is the object, and propagating Unitarian Universalism is the object, and creating community and seeking spiritual growth is the object. We know all too well how important money is to our well-being, and being a responsible, healthy, mature congregation that manages its finances and its future with wisdom and vision, we need to continue to be realistic about the importance of our relationship with money. It's said that lately it seems that money is in the center of many of our conversations and lurking in all of our dreams. And sometimes I worry that we're talking about money too much. But are we? Probably not. But I'm aware that there is a fine line to keep watch on. And keeping in touch with our treasurer's reports and our finance committee's work is an important responsibility that we all share. But I believe that we can and should take this 1 hour away from deep discussions about finances. Our worship time is dedicated to our gathering in spirit, to rest our money-weary souls, and for nourishing ourselves in our sacred sanctuary. And although there is an interconnection between our financial and our spiritual health, I want to keep a close eye on the slippery slope between them and protect our time together as a time set aside for spiritual nourishment and growth, knowing that there are other times that we will turn our attention to what the treasurer's report is telling us. It's an important conversation for us as we work to raise our match for the roof replacement grant and replenish the general fund after we've spent quite a bit taking care of our campus. How do we make these essential activities core to our community and balanced within our path towards spiritual growth? One important way is to make certain that we're dedicating the time to our daily practice that our hearts, minds, and souls are calling for. Thoreau would urge us toward more time in nature, and I long for that. Maybe you've been longing to join the meditation groups that are held at Reverend Ellen's home. Maybe you want to begin a new group, like the cellist circles we used to have, or a covenant circle, or a men's group, or the yoga class that we have here on Saturday mornings. Maybe you haven't lost a loved one, but you still sense a nudge to attend our gathering around grief group. You're welcome there, because grief comes to us in many forms. Our personal prayer time, journaling, and reading to learn are all good exercises to enhance our spiritual practice. So imagine, with wild abandon, the world as a canvas to your imagination, and money is no object. We are all imagining ourselves in new ways, finding new ways to keep strong and keep in touch with the huge shifts in our world. And as the world's canvas keeps being wiped clean by unplanned change and our need to change, we're befriending those changes bit by bit. And there is a kind of a purification that change brings, and a purity in our work to reorganize after an impact of a strong change. And when we have that realization that we cannot bring everything forward with us when change comes, there is a certain death, a grief, and that is part of the healing process for the things we have to leave behind. It's actually a bit of a fantasy to think that we can come through to the other side intact without having to let go of anything and sacrifice any aspects of ourselves, even in the midst of a change as powerful as the shift that was caused by the COVID pandemic or any of its aftershocks. But we stand strongest together now, and it seems to have been a sort of an initiation for us. But we have found our sea legs, it seems. We cautiously stand ready for whatever may rock the boat, ready to fully participate in the creativity process on our rebirth cycle, whatever that may be. But we must stay slowed down and return to seek the wisdom of the earth, listening for the guidance that is found in the depths. But as these days grow even darker, let's use this time for following that inward coil, to allow the old to wash away, and maybe to grieve for the ways that we thought it was all going to turn out. Because this is a holy grief, and it opens the way for a clean slate of imagination and revisioning. I know I have come through a time of grieving for what I was envisioning for us, when after only 3 times in the pulpit as your brand new minister, we were locked down and separated into our little cubbies for months and months. And COVID isn't the only change maker. We each carry a long list of unplanned changes that we are all now being shaped by as we are reborn. And as tempting as it might be to hop past that goopy, messy stuff and land softly at the happy ending, we're still digesting and sorting through the things that still need to be sorted through and digested. And these things are filled with meaning and wisdom that we need. And truth be told, and may truth always be told, to come through our reorganization healthy and strong, we need to come to a place where we rely on new lenses to see our way, new myths and new descriptions of our identity, and new perceptions through which we can navigate in a new world. We need a willingness to befriend ourselves at levels that we may never have thought possible. Befriending ourselves again and again for who we are now as change changes things, and who we will become, and who we will welcome among us. Befriending who we are being called to be as you use in 2023 and almost 2024. There have been so many light bulb moments for me recently where I'm being shown again and again how important a role we already have as Unitarian Universalists in Southern California. I see it politically. Like, I ask, is there a need for some of us to run for local office? I see it as we work to reduce the impact of climate change, and I see it spiritually as we offer an interfaith and no-faith path to growth that really matters as the world shifts further and further away from traditional religion. And I saw it yesterday. Jaryus, if you could put up the other photo. We know what money looks like. Got a different photo for you. He loves when I surprise him like this. He's not screaming yet. But I saw it yesterday as 7 of us walked the Inland Valley Hope Partners' 50th annual fundraiser for the hungry and homeless. I saw it clearly in one moment. I'm going to embarrass Sean. And Jack, if you're online. When a frustrated driver was waiting patiently at an intersection for several walkers who just kept coming along, stepping off into the street rather than allowing them to make their turn. It was Sean and Jack who stopped and let the car drive off and shifted the entire reality for that person and for me. I saw their simple action of outgoing concern in a spirit of service that no one else had thought of, and the impact it had. So 3 cheers, 3 cheers. And we do have a picture, right, Jaryus? The word from the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain. Here it comes. There it is. Yay. Thank you. You can just leave that up now. But the value of our faith is not hard to see. And reorganizing the way we live it out as it lives within us as community and within the outer community beyond our walls, it'll be an important and encouraging unfolding. Because we are all about spiritual growth and service. And as we find new ways to offer that to one another and to the world, we will be building our way forward together. May it be so. Amen. And blessed be. Could come up and extinguish our chalice. We'll all recite together our benediction. We leave this gathered community, but not our connection or our sense of belonging. In this hour together, we have inspired our hearts, shared our faith, and expanded our care of the world. So until we gather again, let's be strong, be well, and be kind.